So I know I haven't posted in a while. I've been super busy. However, I did want to post this video. Um, I know in the video that I'm getting ready to upload, I kind of promised that or say that I'm going to upload this video. I'm going to try to make this as short and sweet as possible. However, I cannot promise that it's going to be, only like 5 or 10 minutes long. I have wonderful news. As of right now, I am in recovery. The other day, I ran. I don't know if I mentioned that in the other video. I probably do because it's awesome. My dog wanted to kill me. But I felt great. So here is what I've been doing. I've been watching what I've been eating. Some Floxies take it a step further, even several steps further, and they pretty much start from square one, and they eat the total basic diet, paleo diet, and then they slowly introduce foods. I was going to do that. However, I don't do very good on very restrictive diets, especially because it's not very cost efficient for me. I'm already on a low carb, high sodium diet for the tachycardia, so I figured I'd start there. I'm allowing myself around 80 carbs a day. With that being said, I've not been sticking necessarily true to that because I have been having my sodas. I plan on getting rid of those soon. I was actually talking to my boyfriend about that last night because that's mainly where I'm getting my carbs from, is my sodas. I try to stay away from starches. As a Floxy, as anybody with any type of gastro problem, which as a Floxy, whether you know it or not, you have a gastro problem. I did not know I had a gastro problem. I do. And you will notice you are sensitive to certain foods. I am sensitive to starches. So I try to stay away from them. Now, I love my potatoes. It is very hard to keep myself away from my potatoes. So I don't necessarily keep myself away from them, but I limit myself. I have found that when I try to keep myself completely away from things, that's when it goes completely bad. So I limit myself and try to stay away from as much as I can. As far as other things, as far as water goes, I bought some nursery water. It is, I guess, distilled or filtered or whatever, using reverse osmosis, which is the best thing to do. It takes all the chlorine and all the fluoride out as much as possible. As you can see, no, I've not quit smoking yet. That is next in line to be done. Just not going to happen right now. So I have been drinking a lot more water. I've cut back dramatically on smoking, especially now that I'm not in pain management. My ribs have not been hurting as much since I started the magnesium injections. I highly, 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 highly recommend you get magnesium injections. I'm started off with 2 a week, and then he said eventually we'll go down to 1 a week whenever I'm comfortable with that. Right now I'm not, because my ribs are still hurting. The other day, the person who did it was not the was not the usual person who does them, and she got the shot a little higher than normal and didn't take effect. So for the past 2 days, my ribs have been really hurting me. And I told the lady that today, and she noticed where the mark was, and she's like, yeah, that was way too high. And she's like, that's probably why you felt dizzy. That's probably why that's probably why your ribs hurt, yada, yada, yada. I had my injection today. I feel 100% better. I just walked all over New Albany, Pokemon hunting. One thing that I said that I was going to go over, besides the diet, of course, now that is for me because I have the tachycardia. I have to eat low carb, high sodium. Now, some of you may not be on that type of diet. I have been told by several people eating lower on carbs helps with brain fog. So you may give that a try. I would not go the Atkins way as far as low carb. I would not do the induction phase. I would do either phase 2 or phase 3. And if you grab an Atkins book, you'll know what I'm talking about with the phases, where you eat certain nuts and berries and stuff like that. I would not do the induction phase. That is too hard on your body to do when you're already in such a critical condition. I would not go through the induction phase, especially because most of your food that you eat is artificially sugared, sweetened. That's the word. So I would not recommend that. I would just set a number, set a goal for yourself, and try to stay around that number. Mine's 50 to 80 a day. Now, there's a lot of days where I go over that, especially days when I drink my Cokes, my Mountain Dews. So it's whatever. I don't beat myself up for it. If I drink 2 Mountain Dews, I'm already over my limit. But if I've not had any starches that day, then I'm like, okay, I know that I'm not gonna feel shitty the next day, pretty much. So like I said, I've been in recovery. One point that I want to bring up that I've noticed a lot of floxies are not aware of, and I think I've brought this up, and since I'm getting ready to go into the medication side, I want to bring this up. A lot of floxies are not aware of this. You are not supposed to be anywhere near NSAIDs or steroids. I'm still looking into the steroids. There's a lot of things the steroids do to your body that in turn reciprocate the issues that you have while being floxed. As far as NSAIDs go, for the life of me, I couldn't understand that. I mean, they're non-steroid anti-inflammatory. To me, that would sound like the best drug ever. Well, it's not, because of the, and I can't remember the word for it. There's a certain something acid that it either helps create or whatever, that fluoroquinolone antibiotics also does. So it's kind of like refloxing yourself. And if you remember one of my videos, I mentioned that I took ibuprofen, and it was like 3 or 4 days I couldn't hardly walk. And then whenever I went to the hospital and they made me take Toradol, I had immediate effects. Luckily, I didn't have any long-term effects. And then this past weekend, I had a headache again for 3 days. Finally couldn't take it anymore, and I took an aspirin. I knew the risks, but I couldn't handle it anymore. Tylenol does not do anything for me, and we didn't have any Tylenol in the house. Otherwise, I would have at least tried that. but all we had was aspirin. I only took one. I only took half a dose of the adult dose, and the headache was gone. But when I woke up the next day, I felt kind of achy, and then as soon as I stood up, I felt the neuropathy in the bottom of my feet, the pins and needles, the whole day, and it just got worse and worse. And then all throughout that day, my body just got worse and worse, to the point where I had to have help getting up off the couch. I had to have help getting things, and it just got worse. The pain got worse. By Sunday, I was feeling a little better, but it felt like I was recuperating from the flu. It was pretty bad. Luckily, by Monday, I was better. So, luckily, it wasn't as long-lasting as the ibuprofen. But I've learned bad. No NSAIDs. Stay away from NSAIDs, okay? So, this is what I am taking. And it's a lot. But I have also, even though it's a lot of medications, I've also stepped down a lot on the medications. So here is what I'm taking. I take magnesium supplement. It's 250 milligrams. I highly recommend you go get that. It's over the counter. And I take it once a day. And because I take it once a day and I'm no longer in pain management, to keep myself from having loose stool, I also take a probiotic once a day, and that seems to help. So, and probiotic also helps with any signs of leaky gut. So, killing two birds with one stone there. And then I'm also on zonisamide for my migraines. And then the doctor that I was seeing, he gave me active B complex, and it's not as bad tasting or smelly as the Super B complex, and it's in a capsule form, so it's a lot easier to take. Per capsule, I'm going to run through this real quick. Got thiamine, 25 milligrams, riboflavin, and I'm probably not pronouncing these right, okay, 25 milligrams, niacin, 50 milligrams, vitamin B6, 25 milligrams, L-methyl tetrahydrofolate, 400 micrograms, vitamin B12, 0.5 milligrams, biotin, 150 micrograms, pentathonic acid, 50 milligrams, choline bitartrate, 125 milligrams, and inositol, 125 milligrams. He gave me those to take, and I noticed when I take those, I feel a lot better. And like I said, it's a lot easier to take than the over-the-counter Super B complex, and it was only $25. So, yeah. And then I'm going to start taking my glutagenics, L-glutamine powder again. I just don't know when. I'm going to talk to him first, just because of all the medications I've started taking. I'm going to give my body time to start absorbing everything and getting used to everything before I start adding anything else. But I was on the glutagenics powder a while back ago, and I think I'm going to start back on that again. I do take Benefiber, and I'm also going to start taking, and I don't know if it's pronounced chia or chia seeds. It's C-H-I-A. So I think it's pronounced chia seeds, okay? Those are the little seeds that you put in the water and it gels up. You're not supposed to, like, take spoonfuls at a time. Well, what I did is I just capsulated them, and I just put them in one little capsule just to curb my appetite. Because in the morning is when I take all of my pills that you take on an empty stomach, because I usually don't eat in the morning. So I thought about taking with that in the morning, because it's also got a lot of good things for you in it, and a lot of fiber. And it's about 1/4 of a tablespoon per capsule. So I thought about starting taking that. In the morning to curb the appetite, so that the medications that I need to take on an empty stomach, have time to absorb. Back to the probiotic, in case anybody's wondering, it's the Lactobacillus acidophilus. It's 10 billion units. And then I went ahead and started taking my cranberry soft gels again. Just because I have them, and for some reason here lately, the past couple of years, I've been prone to UTIs, and I don't know why. I've never been before. I cleanse regularly. I wipe front to back. And I had that one UTI for a year. And I do not want any infection at all, because I don't want to be on any antibiotics unless I absolutely have to be. So anything to keep an infection away, why not? And they're small, itty little gel capsules. It says take 2-3 times a day with a meal. I take 2 twice a day. I take 2 in the morning and 2 at night. You don't really have to take them with a meal. I've not seen any difference with it. And they are, with it, it's got 40 milligrams of vitamin C, 6 IU of vitamin E, and 8.4 grams of cranberry concentrate. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good for you. I mean, why not? And they're cheap too. So, and I already had them, so I thought, why not go ahead and take them? Kind of like precautionary, just to keep myself from having to take an antibiotic. Also, I started taking my vitamin D3 again, because something kind of resonated again in my head. I had an epiphany, because it's been sitting in my cabinet, and I stopped taking it because nobody's told me that I'm low on my D vitamin. But I don't know if it's been specifically tested recently. Now, last time it was tested, they said I was low, and I was like, why am I low? I go outside as much as I can. Well, I was told by another doctor who I had mentioned this to, that pretty much everybody around here is low on vitamin D. Pretty much. It's not uncommon at all. And it's not uncommon at all to be low on vitamin D. So I figure, why not? Why not? I have it, and it's in itty bitty. I mean, it's like itty bitty little. And I only have to take it one time a day. So I just take it at night. And then also, I do still take the alpha lipoic acid. I asked the doctor about that, and he said that that's a good one to take. However, it is about $15 over the counter. But it'll last you about a month or so. So it's not bad. You just take 1 soft gel a day on an empty stomach if you buy the right kind. Now, I did notice there were other brands, and I almost bought the other brand because it was about $2 or $3 cheaper. But I noticed I had to take 2 a day, and they looked like they were a little bit bigger, and they were capsules instead of soft gels. So I went with the brand that I had already bought, and they were just the yellow soft gels. And I only have to take 1 a day, and it's in the morning on empty stomach. In those, they have 0.5 milligrams of riboflavin. I need to learn how to pronounce this word. Riboflavin. I really need to know how to pronounce that word. And then 200 milligrams of alpha lipoic acid. And then my cyclobenzaprine, my Flexeril, I am allowed to take up to 3 times a day. One tablet is 10 milligrams, and I'm allowed to take up to 30 milligrams a day. I was taking 30 milligrams a day. I'm down now to taking 10 to 20 milligrams a day. So I'm down to 1 to 2 pills a day now. There have been a couple of days, especially the past couple of days, that I've taken 3 pills, but it's been very, very rare. So that's one good thing. I've cut down on that majorly. So that's awesome. That's a prescription medication. It's a muscle relaxer that I've been able to cut down on because of the supplements, because of the magnesium injections that I've been able to cut down on. The clonazepam I still take for everything else. I'm still in metoprolol. I'm still having the tachycardia. The potassium chloride, he went ahead and prescribed me potassium chloride. And unfortunately, because of my insurance, they gave me the generic. And it's a big horse pill, and I think I showed it to you in one of the videos. And I'm having a really hard time swallowing that. I keep getting it stuck in my throat. So I'm going to have him write me a new prescription because it's getting bad to where I'm like choking on it. And then also the baclofen. I refilled it. I went ahead and refilled it. I had 1 refill left. I went ahead and refilled it. I'm glad I did because I ended up needing it this week. But I actually was completely off of it actually for about a week and a half. I didn't take 1 baclofen at all. So that was one medication that I was completely off of. But like I said, I have 1 refill, so I was like, well, maybe I should go ahead and have it on me just in case. And I'm glad I did, because this week with my ribs and everything. And now I take it PRN, so that way it's kind of, my body's not so much used to it whenever I do take it, so I have noticed when I do take it, it helps more than it did whenever I was taking it regularly. So that is my medication that I'm on, along with the magnesium injections, and I just go in twice a week and have them done. And then, like I said, the food, the meats primarily, I make sure there are no hormone, no antibiotic, grass, grain-fed, whatever, not farmed, like the fish, I make sure it's not farmed. Make sure it's Atlantic caught, not Pacific, because of the whole nuclear crap from Japan. Even with Gulf stuff, you have to be careful with it. The main thing is you want to look at where it's processed. I was actually very surprised when I went to Walmart. I would pick up a package of fish, and it would say, caught in the USA, processed in China, product of China. What? So you caught it here, you shipped it to China for them to process it, and then they shipped it back? What the hell? Yeah. Yeah, that's what they do. Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to have them do that. And then they had one that was very obscure. It just said, caught in some South American country. I forget which one. And it said product of that country, produced in that country. I'm like, okay, that's nice, but off the top of my head now, I took college geography, okay, so I typically can tell you where countries are, but off the top of my head, I couldn't think where this particular country was and what rivers they had and what body of water, ocean surrounded them, and what type of disasters had happened around them and whatnot. So I'm like, you know what? That's just so I paid $1.50 to $2 extra for Gordon's brand, and it says on there Alaskan wild caught, and it tells you where it's caught, where it's, and everything. So when you buy any type of seafood, fish, or anything like that, you need to look at the packaging and everything. Also, I got lucky. There's organic hamburger that was going bad that day. It needed to be frozen that day. So it was actually $1 cheaper than the regular stuff. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. So I grabbed a couple pounds of that and I just popped it in my freezer. So, I mean, yeah, so I've got several pounds of hamburger in my freezer, so that was awesome. And then I've also found some ham that is, that's natural, no hormones, no antibiotics, no whatever. And it's honey ham, and it's actually sweetened with honey, not, corn syrup, not this, not that, and, it has a list of, and it's nitrate free, of course. You got to watch out for the nitrates. Whenever I get bacon, I get uncured, no nitrate bacon. And so I just watch where my food is coming from and how it's being brought to me, pretty much. I'm trying to not limit myself too much, but watch where my food is coming from. And so far, that has put me in recovery with the meds and eating better, and now I'm able to exercise, which is awesome. So, yeah. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I don't know if there's anything else I was going to add or not. Yeah. And one thing about sweeteners, I actually got into a conversation about somebody about sweeteners. Honey is probably the best sweetener that you can use. Regular unprocessed raw sugar is probably the second, and then sugar being the third, and then you have the black line, and then artificial sweeteners. Some people think diet drinks are like, oh, well, it's zero this and zero that and zero this. It's good for me. No, because you're putting more chemicals into your body. I would rather drink this, even though it's got a bunch of chemicals in it to make the drink itself. But I'm just talking about sweeteners. We're talking about sweeteners only, okay? Because I know it's got a bunch of other chemicals in it. But as far as sweeteners go, I would rather have the high fructose corn syrup and the sugar than the aspartame and the xylitol, or I don't even know how it's pronounced. Yeah, I'd rather have something that's a little overly processed than chemically made, is my point. So I'll leave you with that.